another article about buying the comics. A satirical article taking jab at mainstream video game press causes legitimate outrage amongst mainstream video games journalists. And this is actually something that dropped yesterday, and I wanted to do a video on, but my internet kept going on and off. It's still going on and off, and so it's going to be a bitch getting this thing to upload eventually. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And before I start this video, I'm just going to say it is well deserved. The game journalists deserve every bit of this. Like, journalists in general deserve to go out of business because they have shit in the hands of their customers, people who read their articles. And when people complain about how they're not sticking to what they're supposed to be talking about, they should talk them some more. They get snarky. So before I start this, I just want to say to all the game journalists who see this, fuck you. You deserve what you're getting, just like the comic book industry deserves what it's getting, just like anime journalists deserve what they're getting. Instead of reporting on video games like you should, you are either injecting politics into the subject that where it doesn't belong, or where it has no relevance, or you're trying to push your own goddamn agenda. To which case, I can only say again, fuck you. I hope you lose all your jobs. Because you have a job I would kill for, to be quite honest. I'm not joking. I would literally kill to have a job where I do nothing but talk about games that I love all day. I do the same thing with comics, but instead of appreciating that, you have gotten snarky, entitled. You're everything you call white people, basically. You act all entitled and privileged. And yeah, fuck you. You deserve what you're getting. Fuck you with a giant middle finger on top. With that out of the way, I would like to move on to the article. And it reads as follows. A comedic article satirizing the worst habits of mainstream video game press has deeply offended a number of video games journalists, many of whom believe it's the publications to be an unwarranted attack on their esteemed profession. Oh, okay, yeah, they believe the publications... Wait, attack on their esteemed profession? Esteemed? There's nothing esteemed about what they do. Oh, I've just started and I already want to kill myself. It's just, what is there esteemed about being a journalist? I mean, you're scum. You're seen as scum by the public. I mean, that's always been a trope in fiction for years, but now it's reality. The fuckers have made it reality. Anyway, the outrage began on May 29th, 2021, when Hard Drive, a satirical news site in the vein of The Onion or the Babylon Bee, whose content focuses exclusively on video games, tweeted a link to their article. IGN writer incited the article was, quote, IGN writer excited to start playing game he just finished reviewing, end quote, from the official Twitter account. And, yeah, it's actually kind of funny, because they don't really do reviews now, they just do puff pieces. Originally, this article was 2 years old. It was 2 years old, or this piece they made of satire was 2 years old when these dumbasses decide to make a bitch fit about it. Hard Drive's article satirized a number of the unprofessional and well-documented habits which have plagued the industry of video game journalism in recent years. Oh, it's not been recent, it's been a while. I think if you go back to at least... since before Gamergate, that's been a problem. It has been a big problem. And anyone who gives me shit about mentioning Gamergate, bite me. Just kindly take a long walk off a short cliff. Such satirized habits include plagiarism, professional critics' growing inability to finish games before reviewing them due in some parts to their increased scheduling demands of remaining internet relevant, and how readers will gross over reviewers writing to get to the score and forget about the entirely a few minutes later. I would probably write anything I want here, because nobody is really going to read it, in quote, said Austin Rivera, a fictional reviewer press presented as the subject of the article. Quote, I basically have a bachelor's degree in garbage, end of quote. Oh my god, I think I've made a huge mistake, end of quote. I mean, he's not wrong. I can see why the game journalists are a little clutching their pearls. This doesn't make them look good. If anything, expose the fuckers for the dumbasses that they are. And the entitled whiners that they are. And the narcissists. Like, seriously, they give baby boomers a run for their money when it comes to narcissism. Clearly hitting too close to home for many of the articles sharing as part of nothing more than routine instance of content promotion soon led to Hard Times being inundated with a storm of outrage tweets from real-world members of the video game press who felt that the satirical piece of writing was an outright harassment and attack campaign against their profession. I hardly call it a profession. It's more like a bastardization of something that was once respectable. Quote, I realize that this is likely just standard weekend re-promo, but the timing is bad and the message is worse, wrote IGN director and editorial video Zachary Ryan. Quote, I'm typically a fan of your IGN goose, but please consider taking this down. This is hurtful and this is hurtful to a lot of hardworking folks, end of quote. And to Zachary Ryan, I say, go fuck yourself. Fuck you, fuck your feelings. Your job is a joke. Your life is a joke. And no one harassed these people over this. I'll be saying a lot of names on here as I read the article, but do not harass these people. They're not worth your time of day. They are not worth wasting your breath on. They are that pathetic and scummy. And just out of touch. GameRank's video producer Andrew Gabay asserted, y'all rarely miss, but this is a big miss, yikes. Quote, I don't think you realize the damage a goof like this does, end quote, said Gevia. Quote, reviewers/creators have it hard enough dealing with clowns in the comments. Just make our jobs harder, why don't you, end quote. Oh no, if they wanted to make your job really hard, they would highlight all the dumbasses you hire and work with. Andrew Gebbia, or whatever, however the fuck you pronounce your name, you're not really worth getting the pronunciation right because you're not worth respecting. You're a piece of shit who got butthurt over the fact that a satire made you look like a dumbass more than usual. Or at the very least, it highlights the dumbass you are underneath. Quote, this internet similarly declared former IGN writer Jeanette Garcia, adding, quote, at the time it was a very specific dig, but bringing this out in 2021 just perpetuates a harmful view of critics, and with all the stuff going on at IGN, it feels especially inappropriate, end quote. And no, it's very appropriate, because what have these journalists been doing for years? Shitting on games, lying about them, misrepresenting them, putting out think pieces that aren't worth who are such garbage they're not worth the paper they're printed on or put on the internet. They have insulted customers. They've insulted people who have defended games against moral panics that these assholes usually incite. They're pieces of shit. So, yeah, screw them. According to Dauntless programmer and former Proving Grounds contributor Chris Pollock, if games journalists cease to exist tomorrow, and I'm going to stop quoting that for a second. The day that happens, the world can take a sigh of relief. That the biggest wastes of oxygen are no longer around. Returning to the article. 3 things would happen. Number of new studios would fall, the number of paid influencer campaigns would rise, and the cost of making games would increase due to the needing a significantly larger ad spend. No, you're not that big of influencers. People don't listen to what you say seriously. If anything, you're a joke. And not the good Bill Burr kind of joke, you're the bad kind of joke. The kind of joke that people... You're kind of like social justice. It's a bad joke. And I've said before, I'll say it again, fuck these people. CG Mag online contributor Mary Guthrie asserted, quote, "This is in poor taste and bad timing," end of quote. Quote, "I know this is supposed to be funny, but it's not right now." She continued, end of quote, quote, "Game journalists deal with so much hate harassment, and this just propagates. I'm sorry, I don't really know that word. This and the stereotypes of game journalists don't play games. They are pissed off," end of quote. No, those are pretty accurate assessments. This isn't poor taste. And really, would it kill y'all to be original with your individual tweets? This feels like a coordinated effort. Of just, oh, my feelings are hurt. Poor me. Oh, poor you. Not making probably making more than most people do in an average job. So yeah, screw you. And that's the end of the article. But yeah, I feel not an ounce of sympathy for these game journalists. Oh, the poor little baby who's got made fun of. I mean, you've only done it to how many people? You've insulted gamers. You've insulted people who enjoy games. You bring up Gamergate like it's some kind of boogeyman or your life depends on it. You couldn't shut up about certain political events if we paid you to. You brought up... And this also comes off the heels of IGN employees. I think it was they were bitching about Palestine. In which case, yes, what's happening between Palestine and Israel is messed up. For the most part. On the other hand, that has nothing to do with games. I want to hear about what games I should be buying, not about some kid who got shot in the shoulder. So, yeah, again, IGN and all you game journalists, kindly take your opinions and stick them where the sun don't shine. In other words, go fuck yourself. I know I've said that before, but I am enjoying saying it now. Like, if I was in a room with these fuckers, I would probably be saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I would be saying so many F-bombs, I'd probably lose my voice. Because there aren't a lot of good game journalists anymore. All the good ones have either left or are busy building up new things, and their voices are usually shutted down or ignored because there's less of them and more of these idiots online and hacks who write for game sites like IGN and Kotaku and Polygon, all of whom I hope burn to the ground. The sites, I mean, not the buildings. The sites I hope burn to the ground. Like, if I could, I would give them gasoline to do it. Figuratively. I wouldn't want to actually set fire to something, although I will admit I do like watching stuff burn. But, yeah, no. Fuck these people. I hope they all lose their jobs. And that's not out of malice. That's out of, like, professional affrontment. I feel affronted by the fact these people are considered writers, probably. And I would like to write one day, but holy hell, these people make guys like me look bad. Hell, they make guys like Jason Schreier's the only game journalist I know of who's worth a damn, and even he's kind of a dick. And I think I've also been hearing that they've been bitching about YouTubers now since this came out, that they are the ones making them look bad. No. I'm going to stop you right there, sweetheart. YouTubers aren't making you look bad. You make you look bad. This is like going into this is like that meme of the guy who shoots someone then asks, why would so-and-so do this? This is like game journalists being the reason games go out of style. Then they ask, how could Gamergate do this? This is what the game journalists do. They fuck up, they bitch and moan, and then they blame everyone else for the stuff they caused. Again, F these people. Don't give them money. Don't watch their stuff. Don't read their shit. Tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine and to kindly walk off a cliff. Actually, don't tell them that, because that would be inciting suicide, and you could probably go to jail for that. But, Yeah, that's about all I can really say. Other than the fact that they're now blaming YouTubers, that is not uncommon. Lots of people blame YouTubers for anything under the sun. They blame them for kids not taking the news seriously, to buying games that people don't want them to buy, or watching animes that they try to demonize. And it's just like, at a certain point, how long do y'all want these pricks to stand around? Because like, they act all high and mighty, and it's stupid. They're not special. They don't do anything special. They're not very useful or cathartic for society. They are a detriment. They are the highest form of detriment as far as writers go. Like, even Stephen King isn't this much of a cancer. And that fucker's a walking tumor as far as I'm concerned. Like, sure, he's talented, but then again, so is a tumor. A tumor is great at what it does. But it still has the downside of killing someone eventually. And I had no idea where I was going with that, but you know what? Fuck it. I said it. It's out there, and I'm leaving it. I think I'm done with this. I'll be leaving a link to this article so you can read it for yourself in the description. Have a nice day. Hopefully I didn't give you ear cancer by reading any of this. I mean, if my voice doesn't give you ear cancer, reading this might give you eye cancer. It felt like, not the actual article about it in the comics. They do a fantastic job. It's just reading the tweets that they highlight. It's like reading the Mary Sue. It requires a special breed of masochism. And unfortunately, I don't have that. So yeah, have a nice day. Remember, the game was rigged from the start, obviously, and goodbye.